Well everyone, it happened again. Last night, Sunday, the 11th of February, motor number 3 that Hornby sent me failed in the S15, despite fitting the suppressor, which I was really hopeful might save the brushes, if that's what was causing the problem. Now it had been running quite well and smoothly. If you look at a few of my recent videos, the S15's featured in all of them. The only difference was that Saturday I decided to run her backwards, pulling a small train, maybe 8-9 wagons, just to make sure she ran in evenly. And then when I came to use her on Sunday, she jolted, spluttered, and then would hardly move at all, with the Morley Vector 02 turned right up. So I brought it up, and using my multimeter and the Hammett & Morgan, which does run through a filter so that it's smooth and no spikes, I found that it was drawing 500 milliamps or more and making a racket and getting really hot and stinking, and it smells of carbon, so I'm still suspicious of the brushes. So that's motor number 3 from Hornby. Now the mechanism is as free and as silky smooth as it possibly can be. There really is no question that it's not any kind of problem with the mechanism. Now I know Hornby keeps telling me they want to see the engine, but they've had it back once and they didn't spot anything. So I have just fitted one of the spare flywheels to the new motor that I got from Taff Vale Models. I think it was about 16-17 pounds. I had to fit the flywheel because that's part of the drive mechanism, and so I'm just going to have a look and see if I can temporarily fit it in this bracket, which I should be able to do. I might even use a little bit of Velcro or something just to temporarily hold it in place. There's flexibility because you've got like a little mini cardigan shaft here, look, so it should be alright, and I'll just try this motor out and see what it's like, and if it works I'll try and find a more elegant way of fixing it into the existing position. It's got 2 little screws on the front there which can undo and might be useful for mounting it to a plate. So I've given up with the Hornby motor. I have no idea why they keep going wrong. I've just stripped down motor number 2, this one, because I had it in my mind that perhaps the armature was moving on the shaft, but I couldn't make it move. So I don't know why they keep failing, but they all fail in exactly the same way. This one, motor number 3, in fact failed really quickly. The others tend to slow down and speed up for a bit and then fail. Well, this one just failed. It's so odd, I don't get it, and I wish Hornby would look into it. So I'm going to offer to send back motor number 3 exactly as it is, and you know, maybe one of their technical people can look at it and decide what's causing the issue. I am convinced it's not my controller. I'm absolutely convinced, because I run cordless motors, other Hornby models, Bachmann, Helgen, Scratch Built, the lot, all on that controller, have done so for a number of years without any problem whatsoever. So it's not my controller, and I haven't run it endlessly on the safety miner. I know some people were concerned about that because it's an older controller, which I give you, but it is a variable voltage controller. It is not rheostat, and I never used it away from full wave rectification. And as I said, the camera won't show that very well, put some light on it. It goes through that filter system, which is perfectly adequate to run cordless motors. So it's not that. Why I keep getting motors failing, I don't know. I would have expected to hear hundreds and hundreds of people with their S15s coming to grief for the same reason. So I can't explain it, but we'll try this completely new motor in there and see what happens. Okay guys, what I'm going to do, the new motor, I'm going to show how much current it's drawing out of the engine. Now, try and do this. I'm just going to have to put the camera down, I'm afraid. Right, let's just start it up. Right, so the motor's running and it's half setting on the controller, and that's 120 milliamps, which is what you'd expect. It's really good. Flywheel's nice and even. Obviously it won't be perfectly balanced to this motor, but you get the idea that it's going good and a good motor. Right, there is motor number 3, drawing now nearly an amp No wonder it gets hot, and it's slowing right down, and it's actually getting too hot to hold. But so that's motor number 3 that Hornby sent a month ago. Oh, it's sped up a bit now, look. Down to 340 milliamps, but completely unreliable. It's just like it's burning through something. And you can hear it varying in speed there. But yeah, so there we go, 400 milliamps now. Just to continue, I've turned it the other way. That's half an amp it's drawing. Remember the other one was drawing 100 milliamps. Well, that's 500 milliamps you're seeing there. It's the decimal because the scale only goes up to 200 on my meter. But it's actually getting really hot. Okay, the new motor is installed. And to extend the wires a little bit, I've only fitted one flywheel. I've obviously fitted the suppressor capacitor all the same. The wires come up and connect that side. Now, a little bit of Velcro underneath the motor with a spot of glue each side just to keep it firm whilst we conduct the tests. It's pretty much level, but there is flexibility in that little shaft there anyway. Not sure if the camera can see that. We'll conduct a few tests. So, motor installed. I couldn't be bothered to undo the plug between the tender and the motor, but there you go, it is working. It is slightly high, the flywheel is slightly high, but as I say, that little shaft has got flex in it anyway. So with it running, I'm just doing some current measurement. It's 150 milliamps. The other way, you sort of wonder if it might smooth in as the motor beds in a bit itself. 160. That's the award for the most strange looking loco. Okay, so it's had a good old run downstairs with the 5 coaches that you saw. It gets warm, but it's quite a small motor I suppose, so you're going to feel any warmth that builds up. And it seems to be settled down now around the 180 milliamps once it's in the engine. Oh, just peaked at 200 there. Which is quite high I would have thought, but so there's no load really on that mechanism, it is silky smooth. But if we just go slow there, look, I mean, you can crawl beautifully and everything. Go the other way. There she goes. So there's not a lot wrong with the running characteristics. Milliamps, well, I'd have liked them a little bit lower to be honest, but then I don't really know these motors yet. So Tafel models or Tafel motors, look it up on Google. I'll also put a link on this video. But what I'm really hoping is that Hornby will now ask for this one back, which is untouched. It's failed. It's, you know, you saw what it did earlier. I'd like them to take it back and have a look and see what on earth is going on with them, because surely if it's happening to me, other people must be getting it. Now, I didn't cane this over the period of time that motor number 3 was in it. I ran it for sort of 15 minutes here and there over a few days, and as I say, Saturday I run it backwards, put on a train backwards, and then go to run it on Sunday and the motor fails. So make of that what you will. Let us hope. Well, this is the last video where you will see the internals of my Hornby S15. Well, there we go. She's back together again. I'm starting to pick up quite a few marks and scratches where she's been opened so many times. Do you know, the motor thing has been so bad that I haven't even had a chance to moan about the ridiculously easy derailed front bogie. I mean, I've never seen such a horribly crude hanging thing with no springs or anything. Another story perhaps.